So we're here with another quick little DeLorean tutorial video. I took the binnacle out in order to have it rewrapped because the original one was all cracked up. I had it rewrapped by DeLoreanAutoparts.com. It looks fantastic, but one of the things is there is a contact sheet that's on the back of the gauge cluster, and what I believe is a common issue is these contacts lift up, and it caused an issue because I reinstalled this and I had a hard time keeping these flat and down, and when I would turn the car on, the tack wouldn't work. So they do sell these sheets brand new where you can replace them, but I think what we're going to do is try to repair what we have. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use some very low adhesive electrical tape to tape off all the good contacts. I'm then going to use some super glue. In this case, I'm going to use Zap CA, but in order to get it to dry quick, I'm going to use Zip Kicker. And what the Zip Kicker does is makes an instant bond. Normally when you just apply the Zap, it's like any other super glue. For some reason, in my experience, it just doesn't seem to grab quick. But when you use this Zip Kicker, it's like an instant bond. So we want to be conservative with this because we don't want a lot of buildup. But our goal is to cover up the contacts that are okay, spray the Zip Kicker on the plastic, and then carefully apply the Zap to the underside of the contact and then fold it down so that when I reinstall the plug, what's happening is these contacts are shifting and probably bridging a connection. So we're going to try that right now and see what happens. Alright, so we have the other contacts taped off, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Zip Kicker and spray it on the end of a Q-tip and then apply to the plastic that the contacts are going to go onto. Then I'm going to lightly take some glue onto the contacts and then push them down. So hopefully this works the way I have it in my head. We'll see. So I dipped it in the jar. I don't want it super wet. I'm just gonna apply this Zip Kicker on the plastic. Twist it, make sure it gets applied. All right, now this is the part that I'm a little worried about. I have a little fine end, but I've used it before, so I don't know if it's filled up. Alright, so I have this little fine end. I'm going to put a couple drops on this contact. Oop. Came out really hot. Looks like it's on there, but again, one thing I was worried about was it spilling off into my little spreader, which it looks like it did. I'll take some of this top glare off. Flatten this out. I want to make sure there's no glue on the top, because the whole point is to have a connection. Probably take a little sandpaper here at the end to brush off to make sure that there's no glue on the top. Came out a little hotter than I was expecting. So let's see if I can find something that's a little use this pick to push it down, because I'm afraid it's going to glue itself to this contact. I mean, it seems like it's working, but there's definitely glue getting on the reverse side, because as much as I try to use a little bit, it's spilling over. So I'm going to take maybe a red scuff pad and try to brush it a little bit to get this excess glue off of it, because we want to make sure it's going to have a connection. Be able to peel some of it off too with this little pick. I think it's inevitable that the glue is going to spill over to the other side, but it is gluing the contact down, so hopefully this will keep the contact in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this tape off, and then I might take a little sandpaper to sand that edge, and I might use some contact grease. I'm a big fan of putting grease, and I didn't do it the last time, but put some contact grease on these connections, and let's see what that does. So it's becoming very obvious as to why they sell this contact label and why people probably just replace it. Again, I'm in a time crunch. I have a car show coming up, so it's one of those things where I've let the car sit for a while, and then I've been rushing the past month to get it ready for a car show. But when I pulled the tape up, another contact came up in the back. So I'm gonna mess around with this for a little bit, see what I can do. But it's becoming very evident as to why they sell a replacement. So let's see if this worked. The RPM gauge has been stuck here. It was stuck there when I originally reinstalled the cluster. So if we turn this on, the hope is that it'll drop. It dropped. And it's working. Fantastic. A quick little fix. Not saying that replacement sheet isn't worth it, because I'm sure it is, but this will do for now.